everyone, and welcome yourselves back to the channel here, back for Gotham Knights, this being episode 5. I believe it is the midpoint, because it's on a hiatus for a week, and then it'll be back for episode 6 and 7 and so forth, and we'll be back on the 25th, I believe, of April. So, Jesus Christ, can't believe we're almost near the end of the month again. This year is just non-existent at this rate. But anyway, hit the subscribe button if you're new, leave a like if you enjoyed the videos. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. I have a couple of comments to get back to last week, so bear with me, of course. I hope you're enjoying the series. Ultimately, this show will be cancelled, I believe. It's seen a massive decline from, I mean, it's already got less than 1 million viewers per week. It's 0.84 or whatever it was. I think it's at 0.4. It's gradually just lost viewers every week, and I dread to think how many it's going to have after the break. They've just been called the Gotham Knights this week. The costumes are no closer to appearing. I can 100% tell you now, this is no spoilers, but I think the finale will tease the costumes, the future of what the Gotham Knights will be. I just really disappointed to see it get cancelled. But again, it's one of those things that isn't really appealing if you're. It's not if you're a Batman fan. It's more if you're a case of if you're a fan of Nightwing or Robin or all the stories connected to Gotham. But again, let's talk about episode 5. Spoilers ahead, and now let's dive into Gotham Knights episode 5. So this episode did a few things good. I'm enjoying what's going on with Harvey. It seems like he's sleeping with Lincoln or Lyndon's wife, who he's had a past with, and it comes in the time where he blacks out. And I'm very intrigued because in Batman law, in Gotham law, he obviously is Two-Face. So I'm intrigued to think, is he working one with the court? Who is this, like his Two-Face instead of having two sides to your face? Is it a bipolar disease, or is there something that's happening to him where he's partially a villain? He does something wrong. He has to, sort of fix it by meeting up with Lyndon's wife, and then goes back to GCPD. There's so many different things to theorize. Because obviously we saw him at the docks, he throws the key in the water, then he gets an unknown call, and then he ends up in bed with Lyndon's wife. Very intriguing what they're doing with that. Navita Robinson's Robin character obviously is in a lot of trouble. She's missing classes, she's skipping things, she's lying to her mum, but you can tell the mum still cares a lot about her and is trying to keep this relationship very close. Stephanie's having parental issues as well, as her mother is an alcoholic. Um, kind of the theme in Waterloo Road, there's obviously that back and forth between parents being alcoholics and embarrassing their children. That's what she was sort of doing during the speech and talking to her classmates. So I'm very much intrigued to see where these storylines are going. Um, are they going to distance themselves from the parents? Are they going to be more open with the parents? It's kind of interesting because they're the only two that are all sort of out in the opening, but they're sort of allied with obviously Turner and whatnot. Turner's storyline's really cool. He's sort of becoming very badass, taking on people, without really thinking about it. But he's getting used to the combat and the fighting style, and going up against the mob this episode, burning the money. Throwing the money out the back. Distractions, the police being corrupt. The conversations about the twins and the surgery he had to go through, what she did to get the money for the surgery because of the neglect from the dad. Seems to be a theme. The distance between Turner and Bruce, and Turner and his nanny, who obviously was a traitor in the last episode. Distance of got a name. The Joker's daughter, and obviously the Joker being so distant, the twins and their parents, Stephanie and her mum, Robin and her mum. There's so much parental and kid focus that it's really cool that they're all sort of on the same path. Hence why these 6 characters work so well together. It's cool seeing the dynamics between each character, the relationships that they're forming. Really, really enjoyable series, I've got to admit. As I said, I don't think it's got a future. Not because of me, but if you go on like Rotten Tomatoes, it's 18% in critics, it's 40% in uh, in audience score, which is good and reassuring. But obviously, we need to see what these costumes are. We need to see how high quality they are. The sets are amazing. The acting's brilliant. As I said, this group has grown and become brilliant. The first episode was very iffy, but since then, the past four episodes have been brilliant. The guy who plays Harvey Dent is next level. He just is he's arguably as good as Ben McKenzie was as Commissioner Gordon in Gotham. Um, the name drops of Killer Croc. There's just a lot to enjoy about it. Very, like I said, just to leave on this, very excited to see where Harvey's story is going to go. The fact that they're officially called the Gotham Knights, but I loved how Turner phrased it. What will the city do when they find out the vigilantes who helped them, return the money and sort of put the McKinley or McKinnis mob on the map? Obviously, which is a reflection of what happened at the bar scene at the start. They're seen as heroes to Gotham, but it's also the same people who are seen as the murderers of Batman. So it's going to be very intriguing what happens in these last five episodes. But ultimately, a terrific episode. It continues to surprise me, continues to elevate my expectations, and ultimately, they're all brilliant actors. I think all five of them have excelled what I thought was they were going to do. As I said, the fact there's no Nightwing, there's a female Robin, this characters we're never really familiar with. It was so crazy to think how good this show could be. But I think just like Gotham, when I watched that years ago, it's just as brilliant and gripping and entertaining as that. I'm intrigued to see where everything goes, how this show will end, and I would love to see a season two. CW, they always renewed Lois and Superman. They've renewed Flash and Arrow and all them sorts of things. So I would love to at least see one more season. But again, it depends how it finishes. Depends what they set up. Depends if they believe in this show and people can get behind it. But I think people have been very harsh with the show, and I think people need to sort of. I think the issue is I don't understand why people are hating on the show so much. There's not that many flaws. You can argue some of the CGI is a bit iffy, some of the dialogue maybe a bit cringe. But again, it's a fun time. It's something that's a bit different from Batman or Superman or whatever it may be. And I think for what it is, it's quality. And I don't know how much money they've invested into the show, but I think to see a group of characters come together in the way they have, I think they've done it perfectly. They set up a really good mid-season finale, and I look forward to episode 6 in a couple of weeks. So stick around for that, of course. Hit the subscribe button, leave a like, and I'll be back soon for more. Until next time, goodbye.